Hello YouTube friends. Well, this is a report on my Iron Butt Association Saddle Sore 1000 in less than 24 hours. I did it in 18 hours, 34 minutes. Total mileage was 1,012 official miles, and then add 30 miles or so back and forth because the gas station's not being open late and early around here, so you have to go onto the main parts of town and places to find open gas stations at 1:30 in the morning, which is when I started my ride, and at 8:30 at night when I finished my ride, or well, 8:10 I think it was. The old Beamer did well. I mean, runs great. I'm comfortable. I do get a little bit of a soreness in the back of my neck on the right hand side. It's something to do with the grip, I guess, I have on the handlebars. I'm not sure. But overall, it was an enjoyable ride. I got up to speed. Well, what am I trying to say? The speeds got higher this time because I was trying to make up some time, because I spent an hour fixing my auxiliary fuel tank. This line right here that comes down to the valve, it had been one of these yellow lines, and it fractured up at the top, and I lost about 2 gallons of gas between York and the Gardner exit, and that's where I noticed it, in Gardner. And then I went to Hollowell looking for in Napa. It was 6 a.m. They weren't open yet, and so luckily I was able to. That black line that's on there now, the heavy fuel line, was actually being used as a vent on the tank. Up in here, I was able to cut a piece off and put it back on there and actually get the whole system working again. So I was able to use the tank again later. But that did put about an hour extra onto my schedule. In fact, I think it was almost exactly an hour that it took me to get back onto the highway, from going off the highway back on. Consequently, up in northern Maine, I really pushed it pretty hard to pick up some time. And up there, it's almost an Autobahn. People run fast. I mean, I'm doing 80 and people are passing me constantly. I even pushed this up to 85, high, I think I topped out at 96 one time, but I was definitely above 80, low 80s for extended period between Holton and Bangor, where things do slow down traffic, and a lot more traffic and everything. But north of Bangor, north of Orono, is really just empty. So it's a lot of fun actually, because you can cruise. But consequently, the oil level did go down quite a bit. I think I'm 13 millimeters below full, which is about 10 millimeters below where I started on the dipstick. But I'm going to put her up on the rack. I picked up this Harbor Freight rack a few weeks ago. Gosh, I wish I'd gotten one of those 20 years ago. And then give her a complete checkup, make sure everything's tight and everything's still working, and check the fluid levels and all that good stuff. But overall, a very pleasant ride. I can't think of any improvements I want to make to the bike. I did up my windscreen about 2 inches, but that's just an adjustment. Really can't think of anything that needs improvement. Maybe I'll change the electrics for the GPS and the camera, since they're both USB now. Maybe I'll put a USB charger on the dash, up here somewhere, or I don't know. Having all this wiring running into the tank bag is it's a little futzy, because you have to pull it when you fill up the main tank. But it's a great distance bike, there's no doubt about it. And the throttle, these old bikes, they have throttle locks on them. You've got a little screw down here that you can tighten up. I got mine pretty tight so that when you roll on the throttle, it does not snap back. You have to roll it back off. A long time ago, that's the way bikes were built. All of them were built that way, and then the federal government had to step in with the nanny state and say, no, no, you must have a snapback. Well, that was our primitive cruise control back in the day, and it still works really good on flat ground. I mean, I do miss the real electronic cruise control off like my old Goldwing, my 2002 Goldwing, 2001 Goldwing. No, it was 2002, yeah. But other than that, there's really nothing I miss on this bike. It does everything well. I am going to change the headlight from an H4 halogen to a LED. They've finally gotten to the point where they'll fit in the housing where an H4 will fit with a little bit of room behind, and there's no extra moving parts like fans and that kind of craziness on them. But this thing only has like a, I don't know, 240, 260 watt alternator. So I had to use my heated vest quite a bit. Yeah. Longest day of the year here in Maine, it's still cold when you're riding. And the vest and that H4 and lights and all that stuff, and it's draining the battery. Or it's not draining, but it's really close. I think if I go to high beam on the H4, it starts draining. And I remember having this problem years ago when I had a 83 RT, and I was riding up in northern Maine, Madawaska area, and I had heated gloves also, and it really was a choice, electrics or lights, and the weather was such I didn't want to give up either one. Back then we didn't have LEDs, so that's the next improvement. So it was a great ride. If you have any questions, please just post them. I'll be happy to answer them.